Hey everybody, what's up? The energy that we are starting off with is one where you can either have multiple things that you feel excited about that you want to do, and if that is the case, there can be something about like picking and choosing what you're getting into if you have like a limited amount of energy or time. The other thing is that maybe you just need to be well organized with what you're doing. If you have things that you want to do and you're like, I want to do all of these things, there can be something about organization that's coming up. We're starting off with the Nine of Wands, which can be a position that we're in when we start feeling winded. You can start feeling tired. You can feel like the difficulty of something is weighing on you. It's a time too where things become very psychological, because it's not even just like, do I have the energy to be able to do the rest of this? It's more so like, where is my mentality? And if I can get connected with the right mentality, I am going to be able to accomplish this. I'm going to be able to see it through. I'm going to be able to go the rest of the way. So it's a game where like psychologically you're going to have to lock in here. Because with that Nine of Wands, it shows you being very close to something where you're at a point where you can like see that you get to that breaking point when you kind of break some barrier that you've been trying to move through. So you're very, very, very close to it. So it's not really so much a matter of like whether you can do it or not, as far as like physically if you have the means to do that, or like energy wise whether you have the means to do that. It's more so like what's going on in your head, and that's the determining factor. It's like if you're running a race, you have like 10 feet to go, you can definitely cover that last 10 feet, but it's like mentally, do you feel like you could do that? And that's really where things tie in here with this. You can maybe remind yourself of why you've been motivated in the first place as well. Seeing you've been putting 100% in. Maybe this is also something that it really does require a lot of effort from you. It's not an overexertion of effort. It's just like the regular amount of effort that this takes, but it may be something that feels high intensity to you right now. So I'm not seeing you over giving to this. I'm seeing you give the amount that you need to, but you can be feeling like it's asking a lot of you right now, but not in an imbalanced type of way. Because sometimes we are over giving and we're doing too much and we need to reel it back and we need to check back in with the energy. This doesn't feel so much like that. This feels like you're showing up, you're doing 100%, you're not overdoing it, but it can also feel like it's a lot right now. You can be maybe taking a break or stepping off the field for a minute. Nine of Wands and Six of Pentacles does feel like fighting for something that's worthwhile, even though you can feel tired right now. I'm seeing you get closer, getting deeper into the way that you are feeling about something. This is about something specific. It has to do with what you want. I'm seeing you start at like this surface level place, but then I'm seeing the more you go into it, kind of the deeper you get, which feels like the more concentrated and the more clear the energy becomes. But this is something where you have to dive within you. Like there's stuff having to do with you reflecting truly on your spirit, with something that maybe if you don't bother to go deeper, it just stays in a space where things are kind of like unclarified. But then as you get deeper into this, I'm seeing things definitely become more defined and taking shape. But it has to do with something that's going on within you. I want to clarify this Seven of Cups. I wonder maybe if there's something that you could have been hiding from yourself. Like maybe this was a conversation that you were avoiding having, or like maybe something that you weren't looking closely at before. Like I'm seeing Seven of Cups be clarified by Queen of Wands and the Star, and Queen of Wands and the Star is going to be this combination energy that knows itself well, but when we have Seven of Cups, we can feel like we're not totally there yet. Like I'm still figuring myself out, and I'm still figuring out what feels right to me. This isn't like I'm figuring out what I should like or what I should want. That's actually the thing that can kind of mess you up within the energy. This is about figuring out like what you actually want, what feels real for you, what feels true for you, maybe also like how you feel about a situation that you're in, because this feels like it has to do with something particular that you have going on right now within your life. And I don't know, I'm getting this feeling again, like there can maybe be some stuff that you want that maybe before you weren't willing to acknowledge, that you can be like, no, I want to know now. So you can be wanting to go in deeper to this. And some of you, this has to do specifically with your preferences. But it can be something before where this was like unexplored. And I think part of this also has to do with identity and preferences. And it can be about like what you want, what you feel attracted to, what you feel into, these sorts of things. Before, it could have been something that you looked at and you're like, I don't even know what this means. Like, what does it mean? There's just a big question mark on it. But now that you're paying more attention to this, you can be getting answers that it's not like you couldn't have these answers before, but it may have been something that you didn't want to know this about yourself. So it could have been something where you kind of pushed off because you're like, then I'm going to have to deal with that and what that means. But now for some reason you can be willing to explore this. For some of you, the reason why you haven't been wanting to do this is because it looks like it's going to change a situation for you that you may have been fighting for it to stay the same, even if it wasn't like the truest connection for you. Meaning, maybe you've been all along kind of committed to something that isn't really the best fit for you, but you may have not wanted to question that because you didn't want to make a change. Which happens sometimes, if we allow that. Okay, having Six of Wands, having Ace of Swords. I don't think that something's really a mystery to you anymore. It doesn't seem like that. Like maybe, I don't know if this is just something that you worked through like within your third eye, or if this is some experience that you had, but I'm seeing something clarifying to you. You're having some clarifying experience. Well, whether it's internal or it's external, I'm seeing it be clarifying for you. Like you figured something out here. I see this all coming back to you knowing yourself. And something that before you could have been like, it's fine that I don't explore that part of myself, like I don't really want to get into it, and now like something else is going on. Okay, some of you too, you could have been in a situation where you may not have particularly liked what was going on, but you could have kept forcing yourself to do it for some reason. The reason being is that if you were to actually listen to yourself, it may have again changed a circumstance, you know, like maybe you would have been called out for something, but it's like called out for the truth actually of what you've been feeling. So it's not like you do something and it's out of alignment and then somebody's like, what are you doing? It can be like you stop faking something, and that can lead to a change. Because there can be conversations being had of stuff that was not being talked about, and there can be stuff that you're addressing and looking into that you were not bothering to do before. This cycle that you've been I'm seeing something that's been happening. It feels like over a span of time you've been going through this, but I'm seeing you be very close to finishing the cycle. So you're like very, very close to the edge of this being completed. You're like not there yet, but I'm seeing you be very, very, very close to it. Like you're about to be there. And for some of you too, what you're going to see is that something that you want is going to come of this if you keep fighting for it. Like if you're very close to the finish line. Once you cross that finish line, I'm seeing something that you want be there. This is something that you earned. This is something that it's taken a lot of effort that you've been putting in order to get here. But I'm seeing like a trip that's been kind of confusing that you've been on, or something that maybe has been overwhelming, or something that's maybe just felt unclear at times, or it can feel like it's evolving a lot and changing a lot. Maybe this is also too about when things don't feel simple. Maybe you were running away before and not addressing it, and now you can be addressing those things where you're like, just because it's complicated, I'm not gonna avoid it. Like, yeah, maybe you had some like avoidant habits before where you're like, that's just too complicated, I don't want to get into it. Now you can be exploring those things instead of pushing them away, feeling like you actually do want resolution where you didn't have it before. And I do get this sense of you really coming out on top. I'm also seeing justice on the bottom of the deck, which is things being brought back into balance where they haven't been because we've been doing something else, where it's like something was going on before. You were maybe like not really listening to your instinct. You had other reasons for why you were doing that. Now something else is going on where you can be choosing to really listen, and you can be getting through a time that's been somewhat perplexing to move through. I think there can be like a lot of stuff, like Queen of Wands is coming out again, and I'm seeing this be connected with Seven of Cups. So this can be like mysteries about yourself, about what you want, about what you like, about what makes sense for you, about what clicks for you, about what you feel attracted to, and also all the opposites of those things. What you don't like, what you don't feel attracted to, what you don't want, what you may like abandon yourself for, these things. So it can be a bunch of stuff that's coming up where like maybe these were feelings where you were like, I'm confused by my feelings, or I don't really know what these things mean. And now can be a time when you're actually like digging that up and trying to understand it. Because you were like, I've always questioned this about myself, or I've never like known this thing about myself, or it's always gone like unclarified or undefined or unexplored in some way. Having this feels like something is happening now where you may actually want to engage in this side of yourself so you can understand it better. It feels like this box within you that has been locked up, and it's been a mystery what's been inside of this, and you've known that it's been there the whole time, but you're like, then I'm gonna have to unpack the whole thing, and I don't know what I'm gonna find in there. And so it feels like something that you kept like sweeping under the rug, or you push under the bed and you don't deal with it. Now it feels like something's happening where you actually are dealing with this. And you've known that this has been there all along. It just seems like something that you haven't tapped into, and that you had your reasons for why you were doing this, but now you can be unveiling that. Because there's something that you want inside of there. So that's why it feels important for you to be unpacking this, because it has something very, very, very important in there that before you were like, I don't care how important this stuff is that's in there. Like, I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to have to deal with this. And now I'm seeing it be like, no, it's worth it to me because something really, really valuable and important is in there. So now it feels like it's being unpacked. But I see this had been avoided for, it seems like a long while, actually. Like, it can be something for years and years and years and years. The light going off. This happened in one of the readings that I did yesterday, too. Which, the light has not gone off in a very, very long time. So I'm finding that to be definitely a synchronicity here. You can see what time it was when the light went off. There may be a message if you Google the angel number, like look it up. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for all of this. Let me see if there's anything else. This is something that's going to allow you to have a peace of mind that you could not have while you knew that box was left unpacked. Because it's kind of like you came into this lifetime and you're meant to like unbox and unpack all of the boxes throughout the lifetime, and there's this one that you have not been touching, and now finally it feels like delving into it. And it's going to be really important. Like, what you find within here is going to be really important, but at the same time, I do get before you could have been avoiding it, because you can like kind of have more of an unconscious feeling of what you're going to find when you look in there. And even though I'm seeing it be something very significant that you find, at the same time, there could have been a part of you that didn't want to face that side of yourself. But then it also could have kept you in a space where there's been a bit of a disconnect for you with a very core part of yourself, actually. Yeah, I see something that you've been doing that it feels like could have been kind of distracting you from unpacking this. But it may have been a desired distraction where you were like, okay, if I have this going on, I don't really have to deal with that then. So I'm just going to keep doing that, but it never makes that box go away. It doesn't unpack the box for you. You're going to have to do that yourself. So I see this like wanted distraction that you have been distracting yourself with, but now you can also be seeing that for what it is, and why you've been wanting this situation to carry on is because it was helping you avoid this. And that can just not be enough for you anymore. Like, you don't want your relationship with yourself to be fractured anymore, so you can feel more motivated to get into this now. Because I'm seeing, yeah, this has to do with self, it has to do with identity, it has to do with you specifically, and stuff that you were like not knowing about yourself and not willing to explore about yourself before. Which also is connected with like your path and what you're doing and how you're spending your time here too. Feels like it also makes you wake up to something that maybe you didn't want to before. Because I think that this can mean that some idea that you had for yourself, and maybe like a false idea that you had for yourself about like who you are, like what you want, something like that, it like wakes you up out of that. And it can be something that maybe you didn't want to let go of before, because you were like, I want to be this person who like likes this and who does this and whatever. And this is making you realize that that's not honest for you, that that's not real for you. But it could have been something where you're like, well, I want it to be, so I don't want to get into this. It's just some place where like something was going on where I'm seeing there was like a faking of some sort that was happening. But it could have felt like cozy to you at the time to be doing that, because then you didn't have to deal with this. But it can be something where you're like, why would I dismiss this part of myself? I think that this is like also part of the journey of self-love as well, too. When you don't want to abandon yourself anymore, even whether it's a small part of you or a big part of you, you can be in a place where you want to be in the best possible place with yourself, which means that you're going to have to deal with this inner conflict. That's really, I'm seeing something that's been very complicated and very tied up. Like this energy has been knotted up within you. There was another reading too where the Queen of Wands came out yesterday, and this is also reminding me of that reading, but it's a reading where it's not going to come out for a while still. But I remember in that reading the Queen of Wands coming out, and there was stuff going on that was connected with the root and the sacral energy. So if like a week or so from now, if you end up seeing that reading, I'm seeing it like somehow be connected with this one too. And I speak specifically about the root and the sacral chakras in that reading. Yeah, it's crazy because this is going to unlock something super, super, super significant for you. And for a lot of you, I'm seeing this actually have to do with your relationships and like connections. This is going to help unlock something that it seems you've been wanting, but maybe didn't realize that the two of these things were connected, where because of leaving this box unpacked before, there was something really important that was going to be a key to you unlocking something within your life. And it feels like it has to do with, it can be intimacy, it can be connections, it can be love, relationships, these things. All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.